Is it just
That's enough.
a single business owner or one representing each company?
Well, let's start with one business owner, and if you think we need to
Okay.
pull in more, well, this is
I
all discussions here.
Okay,
so-
I was just wondering, okay.
We have done that before in the past with a business owner coming in with all three of us, and it was slated one direction. The business owner wasn't open to the whole township concept. And I think that would be a question we would have if you're restricting it to one, what's their agenda? Well, but politics do play into that on the back door of everything, so.
Well, just, because when we went through the merger process, two of the three business owners were actually members at one point of companies on there. And that,
Well, the reason I have business owners down here is because, let's face it.
They know what the money is.
Tax, that's right. That's
I
where the
have a
money's
perfect
at.
business owner.
That's right.
It is that way, about a mile and a half.
Anyways. So that's how I'd like to start. I do have, two of you here, three of you here, and two of you here. Two fire companies, are you in agreement with who should be on
But then
this
they're
board?
gonna be.
I think you're gonna have a hard time getting them all to agree, because especially our presidents and trustees, they are executive people that have very busy schedules.
Okay, well, let's.
Just food for thought, when you try to do this, you're gonna get a lot of resistance on
You're gonna
that.
look to do evenings, correct?
Yes,
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
yeah.
Yeah, that would be my only comment. It's gonna be hard to get all them people from three different organizations together.
So the motion would be to form an emergency managed service working group led by Penn Power.
That's not what this says.
Too verbiage there for me.
Motion is to form an emergency management services working group and reestablish the fire company's working group with attending members to be as agreed upon for the purpose of establishing a working sustainability for the future of East Cocalico Township and the safety of its residents.
Okay, I'll make that motion.
Thank
You
you.
ready? Need a second.
I'll second it.
Any other comments or questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carried. Thank you. New business, Commonwealth Financing Authority, CFA grant for Stony Point Park. Gentleman here.
Yes, so the gentleman, you all know Stony Point Park is a park that we are desperately trying to get built here to the tune of, it looks like it's gonna come in $450, $500,000. The Park and Rec Board, the Stony Point Park is applying for a DCNR grant. That's a 50% match by the township. Those monies are very hard to come by. There are very strict rules and regulations to that. So reaching into my pocket of my contacts, and I've had the pleasure of working with Paul McNamee for a number of years now with South Hanover Township, and he was instrumental. He's a project consultant, and he was instrumental in getting South Hanover approximately about $8 million worth of grants. So I would like, if we could get a CFA grant, I'll let Paul tell you more about that grant and introduce himself, but that's a 15% match, and it's a little bit easier money to get hold of. Mr. McAmey?
Good evening. I have no tax amendments to bring before you. I was part of a working group in South Hanover Township for their EMS and firefighters, so I don't want to volunteer for that again. So. No, it was great. My name is Paul McNamee. As Penny mentioned, I've worked with Penny before in a previous position. About myself, I have my own company. I formed after I was president and CEO of two engineering companies, professional engineer, been in business too long. But I don't do a lot of projects. I pick and choose what I want to do. I want to work with people that are serious about their projects, about what they want to get accomplished, because I take pride in what I do and I try to produce results. I can't promise or guarantee a grant, but I will promise you that I will do the best I can, knowing what I know about the grants process and what I can learn about your project, because the project is what is pretty important. The grant application process is the same for everybody. It's the project you really have to sell to get any grant. as you probably know in previous projects. Commonwealth Financing Authority is an 85% grant, 15% match minimum. Grants are limited to $250,000, so it would be a partial grant for your park project. I don't have a lot of knowledge of your park project. I was just contacted by Penny after the first of the year, and I did review some of your sketch plans and some of the budgets and things like that, so I have a general knowledge, and I did drive by the site. I think it's a grant eligible project, number one. I think that's what's most important. Is it grant eligible? Can we meet the criteria? Can we write a competitive grant proposal? And for your information, the Commonwealth, this particular grant is administered by the Department of Community and Economic Development, Commonwealth. Commonwealth Financing Authority is a separate authority that was set up to spend Marcellus shale money. The taxes and revenue that's coming in from Marcellus shale is going into programs like this, and it's for greenways, trails, and recreation. You fall under the park recreation. I'm not sure if you have a future trail in mind or anything, but those are the kinds of projects that this funds. Last year, they funded about 100 projects for about $85 million. So the competition is stiff, but there are a lot of grants. And the grants range from $20,000 to $250,000. So just to give you a feel for the program, it's an online application process. There's quite a few attachments. They kind of get you as an online application, but then you can add all these attachments, which is really the story about your project and why it should be funded. And just to give you an idea of some of the things they look at in reviewing the grant application, which I think is important that you understand when you submit a grant application, what they're going to look for in the grant application so we can address it. It's not just that it's a park. It's what's the economic condition of the region? Can it support a park? Is a park in demand? Have you done any surveys to determine whether the residents want a park? Are the businesses in support of a park? Because we're going to go to the businesses, we're going to go to organizations, clubs, and try to get letters of support for the grant. Now, they don't say in the grant application, get letters of support, but I've found that if you get the community supporting the project, it carries a lot of weight. We'll interact with your legislators, because in the end, they can also have some input into grants in their district. They won't go so far as to say we support your grant, because they may have other municipalities in their district that are submitting grant applications, so they can't differentiate between East Cocalico Township and another township or municipality. But we at least want to make them aware of our project and let them know what we're trying to accomplish and get their input. And at least if they get a call, or they can make a call, say, hey, we support this project, then we want that to happen. We have to make sure the project is consistent with your planning goals, your comprehensive plan for the township. So the planning commission, we would request the planning commission to issue a letter in support of the project, and that it meets the comprehensive plan and park and recreation goals of the township. We also need to go to the Limestone County Planning Commission and get a similar letter from them that is in concert with the county comprehensive plan. In the past, I've been very fortunate to be able to get those kind of letters, because parks and recreation is something that everybody likes. And you know, with the move for a healthy environment in our lives now, very few people are against a tot lot or a walking trail, or you know, some mechanism to go out and exercise or enjoy the environment. So those are the kind of things that we will try to incorporate into your grant application. I would want to learn as much as I can about the vision, about your plans for the park. Your township engineer would have to be involved, because although I'm a professional engineer, I do not practice engineering. I leave that to the professionals that you have hired. So we wouldn't want the schedule. We have to have a schedule, grant ready. If we get a grant, how soon can we spend it is one of the criteria they look at. So how soon can we get plans prepared and approved What permits do we need to build the park? So your township engineer has to be involved. I need a certified estimate, construction cost estimate that the grant is based on. I need to know, I'll come to the board for a resolution that you have the local match ability to match the grant and that you're in favor of the grant. Actually, the township signs the online application. I prepare it all, but go over with the township and then you submit the actual grant application. The grant application cycle opens February 1st and it closes May 31st, so our application has to be in by May 31st. The decisions are made in September usually, so it's a pretty fast turnaround. I like to see the grant spent within a year, or no more than 2 years. The sooner we spend the grant, I think we get a competitive edge over those that are not ready to spend the grant money, because they want to spend the money. They don't want to give you a grant, have it 3 or 4 years, and you've done nothing with it. I heard a discussion on the ambulance. Got all this money and it's not being spent, so we got other people that we turned down for grants that we should give them money, so basically that's it. I'm pretty familiar with Lancaster County. My son lives in Lancaster County. He works for Kinsley Construction. I've done some work for the Lancaster County Commissioners. I'm also, I do some work in an engineering company out of Mechanicsburg. I do work with an architect out of York. I live in York. I'm currently working with the County Planning Commission on, with PennDOT and the Planning Commission on projects for local municipalities, for intersection upgrades. Any projects that's on the tip, on your transportation tip, I'm involved with that with an engineering company, so you might see me in that role on another project. So I know the planning commission people pretty well, I know the county commissioners pretty well, so I think that relationship will help in getting their support and getting their ideas and thoughts on how we can enhance our application. I mean, I'm going to write it, but I need the township to help me enhance it. I need to know how passionate you are about the park. I need to know that you're serious about it, how we're going to get it accomplished. I take that and I put it into the words in the grant application. So I'd be glad to answer any questions. I don't know if I've covered everything or not. I'd be pleased to work with you if you decide to move forward. If not, it's been a pleasure listening to your board meeting tonight. I've spent a lot of time with townships and I love you guys. I mean, it's local government work, and I believe in local government work. You don't always agree, but somehow you get it done. I think that's what it's all about. So if I can help you do that, I'd be pleased to do that. I think you have my proposal, and if you have any questions, I'd be glad to answer them.
With the park group being formed as a nonprofit, would it be us that's funding and supporting the idea of the grant writing? Okay.
Yeah, the grant would come to the township. Now, it is a state grant, so it does carry restrictions. I mean, it has to pay prevailing wage. You have to publicly bid it. You can do in-kind services, either for construction or design. I know you've got 11 associates working on it. I think your township engineers get involved. I would want to figure out how we package this grant application. But we wouldn't package the entire $450,000. We pick a chunk of $250,000 or $200,000 to $250,000 out that we would go for this grant for, and see if we could get this grant for a specific part so that it isn't tied to the rest of the park and your inability maybe to do other things in the park that you want to do. So maybe phasing some improvements. If I'm on board, I would sit down with the township and we strategize on the best way to approach the grant project. Yeah.
What's the thought where the fees are coming from? Is this park and rec, or is it just general fund, or?
Well, that would be a decision that this board would have to make.
The
I
rec,
think I
Does
think,
the rec fund know about the proposal, or?
they do not, and, I wanted to bring this before the board. They are, like I said, they are trying for a DCNR grant, which would be about half of the money. And then they were planning on fundraising the other half, and I think they're a wonderful board. I think that's a big goal that I'm not sure could be met, and I'm afraid that the balance of it would fall onto the township's lap. And if we could apply for another grant and maybe pick that up, that would be awesome.
And we had a limit on the contribution. Yeah,
Right.
we had a
Yeah.
financial limit on the contribution to the park, and they had to meet, equivalent funding or higher for that funding.
And they've already spent a chunk of the 100,000 that was allocated there. Am I right on that?
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
correct.
probably about
Yeah,
half.
you're right, Jeff.
Yeah,
Yes.
probably, yeah. So-
When you're writing a grant like that, you know, they've already spent 40,000 or something of the township allocated money. Does that get offset? No.
That's history. That's that $96,000
We
that
can't
went
count that
away.
as in kind.
Pardon?
We can't count that as as part of the, we can count it as part of the
If
match.
we can try to figure out how to reuse it, we can maybe give it.
That can be part of our match, part of the
It may
match.
be, I'll have to, it depends on what it is.
It was for leathers,
Yeah, a big
the
chunk of it.
design drawings
Yeah,
and stuff like that,
design,
the
yeah.
design. Okay, well, okay.
To be determined.
Yeah. We would try to maximize any funds you've spent, for sure.
I think this is turning into a much more complex project than they ever estimated.
And that's
And
why,
I see Tony
Yeah, that's
I'm
why.
bringing in help.
Help, yes.
That's what I've found in my experience, is that you get a big picture and you try to put it all together. Sometimes it's better to work on little pieces at a time, get a master plan, work on little pieces at a time,
Right.
and expand it as you go, as you can afford it, and make sure that you get something started, because once you get something started, then people start seeing progress, and they get interested in it, so.
Because
And I
it's
don't
easier to
know,
get
I don't know what
more
other kind of
grants
parks
if
you
you
have in the
something
township
started.
either, so. Anyway, that's my thoughts.
Yeah.
So the motion to be approved Stony Point Park GFA grant writing proposal submitted by
McNamee.
McNamee
Yeah.
Strategic Consulting for the amount of $4,000.
I'll second that.
Are you taking questions?
Did somebody make a
Yeah.
motion?
Yeah, I made a motion.
Okay.
We have a second.
In a second, yes.
How big is this property? Like, what is the cost per square acre of this?
Well, the property is already ours.
Yeah.
No, but you're saying it's gonna cost $450,000 to make this park?
That wasn't the comment, but they're trying for that much of a grant,
That-
maybe though.
So you're fishing for money, but you don't know what you're gonna do?
Yes, the project has already been designed.
Yeah.
It's a pretty extensive, first of all, it's handicap accessible.
It's ADA,
ADA accessible, which is,
Oh, it have to be.
which is, that's a big deal. But it's a really nice playground for our kids.
I'm just thinking, I live in Rose Hill. We were supposed to get a walking trail put in our development when it was built, and we never got it. And I feel that we got gypped. And now you're gonna spend all this money on a park that's so far away from the main part of town, the township. What,
Well,
how much is it costing
That's why
per
we're applying
foot?
for grants, Ms. Kenbeck, because the township does not have the money, that kind of money to spend. But
But that's
you know,
only for
the-
half
the
of
park-
it.
This board, the Park and Rec Board has planned this park, and they would like to see it come to fruition. I think it would be a great place for the children, and we want to help bring that in light without having to, having that fall on, as a burden on the taxpayers. That's why we're trying to get grant money here, to make that happen.
My only problem is, our wonderful park is what, a half mile away?
it's not our park though, it's a town.
The Reamstown Park.
Yeah, Reamstown.
The Reamstown Park,
Yeah,
that the community
yeah, the community park.
built. The community built, they
Yeah.
put a lot of money in, and it is a beautiful park.
Yeah,
And it's about, am I right, about a half a mile?
yeah, roughly, yeah.
Wow.
It's not ADA compliant though, that's one thing. No, the top lot there is not ADA. That's the only,
That's my only
It does have a swimming pool adjacent to it.
that's ours too, yeah.
Well, it's so close.
I know,
That-
I agree,
That's my
I agree,
point, that's
yeah.
my
The,
point.
the thing is,
And the people, you were here, we were all here,
mhm,
went to extraordinary lengths
mhm.
to put that thing together.
Yeah, I know, years ago,
The
yeah,
community
definitely,
did it.
yeah,
I believe my name's still on there.
Mine too.
yeah.
And they come from all around to use that park, and I can't imagine, people from Effort are coming out and using a park at Stony Point. I can't imagine.
No, I think they'll use that too.
I don't.
I think they will use
If
that.
they know about it.
Yeah, I think, my personal opinion is, the trouble with trying to sell that Stony Point Park for people to give donations, they assume the park in Reamstown is an East Cocalico Park.
Doesn't matter what they assume, it's in Reevestown and it's a park to use. So it doesn't matter what they think.
Yeah.
I mean, I donate to it all the time.
Are you looking, if you're doing that to that park, are you gonna, thinking about possibly in the near future to upgrade the one in Homestead, since that's a township park?
We,
That needs a lot of upgrade.
Well, I know, but if you're gonna put that money on that end of the township, it'd be nice to have one
It's
on
pathetic.
this end as well, especially
the
with.
one in Homestead was a grant,
Yeah.
that was a grant years ago. They're regular.
It's loaded with poison ivy. You try to use the basketball hoops, I had to go back home and get a broom to get the ball out of the hoop because the net is so little used that you can't even get the ball to go through it. There's never anybody there because there's nothing there.
We go through there a lot with the fire company, and that basketball court is used daily almost in the summertime.
Yeah.
That I know. Because there's times we go there to do a training and we can't do it because there are people on the floor.
Well, I don't know how to get the ball through. I had to go back home and get a broom, get the ball out. And then the ball went into the poison ivy.
Just out of curiosity, 10, 20 years down the road, when this elaborate park is gonna need maintenance, who's footing the bill for that?
General.
Well, we won't be here 100 years from now.
Well, no, but
That's a guarantee.
Part of the grant says that it will be maintained by
The township.
grantee.
yeah, it's just
Yes.
more money to spend.
Well, I think one of the things you have to understand, the homeowners, you know, all those are new homes up there, and the developer paid a fee towards the park and recreation. And I would say that's a large sum, so part of that $100,000 is coming right from that fee for those homes.
I mean, there's what, 30 houses in that development though?
Yeah.
There's the rendering of the park.
So we're putting a couple $100,000 park in for 30 houses. That's
Yeah.
kind of what I'm getting at.
It's accessible to everybody, public park, just
I
like.
understand that.
Well, if I lived in a development, I'd work out a grant.
It just
What's
seems,
a matching, we paid $4,000 for the grant, but matching,
Matching for the CFA grant is 15%. DCNR is a 50% match.
Yeah.
So this is obviously the.
So if we apply for 250,000, we get 200,000, because you don't always get what you apply for, and then your matching grant, your matching would be 30,000.
I think what I'd like to do is wait till our next meeting, we'll table this for now, and let's get a clear, concise accounting of exactly where we are, okay? Where the costs are going to be then on the consulting side for the fund, for the grant writing, right? What they've actually spent.
We'll
we
have.
have all that, we have all that.
But I'm hearing a lot of questions in the audience, let's get that data out there.
If we don't do this, I don't think that's gonna get built.
That's correct.
I think that there's such a group of volunteers that put so much time and effort in that, you know,
This
this
has
is
been
a
going on
small,
for many years now.
small price to pay to help them move
Yes.
forward.
Or, yeah.
That's the way I look at it.
But what is it going to cost us in the future? That's.
What's it gonna, that's a loaded question.
Well, I mean, if it's gonna be a multi, couple $100,000 project now, it's not gonna last forever, so we're gonna have to maintain it or replace it. So,
Well, the maintenance of the old homestead has not been that much. Because everything, the plastic.
One of the bigger costs there is replacing mulches every
Yeah.
couple of years, and this won't, this is all rubberized.
This is rubberized decking,
So that's a main.
and all, everything's made with that treated, that lumber made out of
but with
plastic.
the park less than a mile down the road,
Doesn't have all this equipment.
Doesn't have this equipment.
You have to realize the amount of time all these volunteers have put in there. Similar
Where
to
are
what
they?
you do with
Are
a
they
fire
in here?
company. These people have been doing it, trying to organize.
I understand that, Jeff, but
Yeah.
we got fire departments that are barely surviving because funding is tight and money is tight. So we gotta prioritize things, and I think a park is a lower priority than what our emergency response should be.
Okay.
And that's my, my opinion of that.
Well, budgeting, money was increased for funding for this year
I
for
understand that.
hotels too, so.
I have one question, and it would be for the chief.
I'm ready.
No, I have one question,
Yeah.
and it would be for the chief. Do you get calls, do you get police calls on the Reamstown Park? I'm just curious.
Sure.
You
Yeah,
do?
absolutely.
So parks can create,
Well, I mean, I don't know how you weigh the benefit of a park to the potential of having a call there. I mean, you can have that anywhere. I mean, it's not an exorbitant amount of calls, but yeah, sure, we get calls there. Excuse me, get calls to the pool. We get calls various places, but it's not something that would stand out to me.
well, my other comment is, do those homeowners in that development, because I just can't imagine building in a development, having a park that is open to the public. I lived in 2 developments, I just can't imagine that. So are they aware that that park isn't just for them?
This has been on the books
They are.
for a lot of years,
It's been on the book for over 10 years.
Okay.
a lot of years.
And a lot of the people that live there have younger kids, and they've been coming and fussing to the rec board that they want a park. Because the builder told them there's gonna be a park there tomorrow.
And I
Well,
believe,
we were told that in Rose Hill too, and we never got
our
anything.
prior manager is the one who really started, was the
Yeah.
catalyst to really start the process. So I think it really started in force in late 2017, I believe. Late 2017.
Yeah, part of the grant award is it has to be a public park. It cannot be private, it has to be open to the public. And it has to be maintained by the grantee.
You already have.
Some of the restrictions.
Yes, sir.
Well, Dan Weeder, one last question. You said you have to pay prevailing wage if, on the grant funds?
Yeah.
Would the township be required to pay prevailing wage if they did not get the grant? Is the 15%,
If you hire.
like, does the 15% call
Bid it
share?
out, they would still have to pay, you still have to pay the prevailing wage.
Yeah.
Anything that's bid out publicly, in Pennsylvania, you have to pay prevailing wage.
The main concept here with this park is volunteers. Volunteers doing most all of the construction and work.
June?
Foxbrook development, does that have any planned parks in it?
Homeowners Association, I believe, isn't that correct?
It depends.
That was one of the,
On the, that was
one
what the
of the
original proposal.
unresolved issues is to whether the
Okay.
park was appropriate or not, and what portion would be fee in lieu of.
It's all up in the area.
Still
Well,
up.
that was what, for 400
4 times
homes and no park, and this is how many homes and a
No,
park
that
of this
wasn't 400
expense?
homes with no park.
Well, I would not say no park, that's, there was open spaces and other opportunity, community
Community
buildings
center, yeah.
and other things, so the decision on all those items was one of the things that was still remaining, was resolved, park and rec, and the township have an interest in a park. It'll be the same issue with the new plan, although it'll be less unit of the same discussion. Is the township interested in parkland or not?
Are there requirements as to how much land in the township has to be dedicated for parks?
There's a requirement for new development, residential development would be contribution of land or fee in lieu of as determined appropriate by the township.
Then what did Heatherwood do? Do they pay money?
Heatherwoods had met their park obligation, Yes. actually with the majority of the land surrounding the current township building, which was dedicated as part of the initial phase.
Just for clarification also, this park is actually, it's not a, it doesn't matter how many homes are there, it's not a park specifically for those homes. This is one of the East Cocalico community parks. So in Quail Hollow, we have a park there also.
Just for you?
We have, correct, for our homeowner association, that is 100% funded by the association, maintained by the association for the 199 homes that are there. So what makes this park a little unique is this is not specifically designed for those homes, this is a public park.
But it's so far away from where I live, our development has nothing. And if they're not gonna put anything in Foxbrook, Old Homestead, that park is not very big. And I don't know, how would kids from our areas get there? There's no transportation. Riding a bike on 272 is pretty dangerous.
But Foxbrook's, it's still up in the air, so you can't say that there's not a park there. There's also behind you, there's the village of East. Yeah, right behind it is the village of East. I don't know if that has any park area in it or not. To be determined. So you can't say there's not going to be any there.
But we don't have anything, is what I'm saying.
You
We
have,
don't have
you have
anything.
your homeowners association park, and that's
We don't
it.
have a homeowners association in Rose Hill.
Oh, Rose Hill, I'm sorry, yes.
Rose Hill, we
Well,
have
what happened
nothing.
there was the bog turtles took care of that.
Well, we wouldn't have had a homeowners association anyway, we don't
No.
have one.
But the diversity development didn't happen because of the bog turtles.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is we still don't have a homeowners association.
No, I'm sorry, you don't, I was wrong.
I'm not criticizing, I'm
Yeah,
not being
yeah.
negative, I'm just saying that there are no playgrounds except for Old Homestead,
Yeah,
and there isn't much there. How would kids from those three developments get all the way over to there? If this is accessible to everybody in the township, how are they gonna get there? You're expecting all these communities to pay for that park when it's so far away. It's on the border of what?
That's why we're going for the grant, so we don't pay
Yeah,
for
but
it.
that only paid for half of it.
Okay, we gotta move forward, so I'm calling for a vote. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carried. Thank you. We can read this all night. Sorry. P-Man. Manager's report.
Where are these volunteers?
Okay, well, this month was all meetings.
Anybody here from the park?
And I met with a lot of staff, individual staff meetings throughout the month. I spent this month reviewing the various township operations and observing practices. And really did a lot of extensive research into our traffic impact fee, and I'm gonna be working with Brent and others on that to get a full understanding of that. As our tax collector regarding our street and hydrant taxes, and there's personnel items that I'll talk to you gentlemen about later. So that's my report for the month. So, also under my report, you have the Carriage Hill tot lots, and the board had mentioned about putting those up for sale. So if you want to do that, we will need a motion to authorize the township solicitor to proceed with the necessary steps in preparing the Carriage Hill tot lots for public sale.
I'll make that motion.
Where do we stand with the rec board they had originally wanted to talk about?
Well,
Did they change their mind?
well, there's a certain way to do this, and it'll go out for public bid. anybody can bid on it then, so we can't say that the person next door can buy it.
They were looking to survey the residents to make sure that this is, that they
Well,
changed their mind on
So,
that.
we can't guarantee it to the residents. If the residents want to buy it, we can't make that guarantee for
Yeah,
them.
none of the
How
residents,
about actually,
they didn't want
They
anything.
don't want to park.
They don't want
They
to
don't
park.
want to park.
Yeah, they didn't want to park.
fair enough.
Okay, I made the motion.
I'll second it.
Any comments or questions, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no, motion carries, thank you.
We also have under my report, the 2020 nonprofit security grant workshop. I had sent you gentlemen all an email on that, and we also put that up on our website. That is an email that came through from PEMA, the Pennsylvania Emergency Management Agency, is offering a non-profit security grant program for registered, recognized organizations, 501c3, who consider themselves to be in a high target area for terroristic threats. This grant will help support physical security enhancements to their building, such as cameras or whatever. So this is a grant that's out there, and it is on the website. They're all non-profit organizations to take advantage of.
Is that open to churches also?
That's correct. As long as they're 501c3. Churches, mosques, synagogues, so on and so forth. So that will help them get, like I said, security enhancements for their building. And I also have the attendance and registration is open for PSATs. So you gentlemen, if you want to go, please get that information into either myself or Lisa so we can get you registered for that.
Rainy day.
And that's all I had, gentlemen.
It's raining.
Yeah.
That's all I have.
Okay. Public comment for non-agenda items, please state your name.
Ralph,
Go ahead, Ralph. Front of you.
I'm sorry, gentleman in front of me, go ahead.
My name's Wesley Hoover, I'm from Stevens. I just was wondering if the board was aware, I had a fellow township resident tell me that we have criminals with backgrounds in with criminal histories running in our fire departments, and the chief officers blatantly or shoved it under the rug, their criminal histories. And I wondered if you guys knew anything about it.
I certainly know nothing about that.
And I'd like to know if you guys are gonna do anything about it.
Well, now that it's brought to light, we have to.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, that's the first I've heard of that.
Okay. I've heard,
can you elaborate on which company?
in private, between.
Private.
In private, all right.
Private.
Very good.
See Penny afterwards, please.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Ralph?
I have a question for supervisors. Is the budget going to get reopened?
No.
No.
Okay. And one other question. What's the status of the road crew unionization? Did it go through?
Just did, yes. So now we have to renegotiate, have to negotiate the contract.
Do we have budget for that? Okay.
Any other questions? Doug?
Doug Mackley. This question is for Supervisor Mitchell. I watched the last meeting on YouTube, and you spoke of looking into a single source trash hauler. And I'm just curious, were you just dreaming about that, or is it something you're really seriously thinking about? And if so, why?
At one time, Mr. Russell talked about that as maybe one of his goals for the township, and that's what I was referring to.
Okay, so.
And it was just a conversation piece, and so far it's gone no further than that.
Okay, and I do remember that conversation with Scott, and when I was on the board, we talked about it. I personally see no benefit in a single source trash hauler. Would you agree with that?
I think it would have to be looked into, but probably you're right.
Yeah, I mean, I believe in capitalism, and I believe in fair market value, and, you know, if the board or this board or the next board would say, well, you have to use Joe's trash hauler, that takes all my negotiating power as a citizen away. I mean, I've got nothing then.
In that respect, would it be possible for the township to negotiate with everybody that hauls in the township and say, you know, what would your price be for everybody in the township? So the township's doing the negotiating, and I think that's maybe where Mr. Russell was going with that, you know, you could get a better deal that way. I don't know. It was just a concept I heard talked about.
Okay.
And I know maybe from your experience, did it ever go any further than that?
No.
Okay,
No.
fair enough.
And I was just curious, when I saw it, I thought, oh no, you know, because to me, it doesn't make any sense if someone would tell me who I've got. That's like saying I can't go to Wegmans to buy groceries, I've got to go to Supervalue or something. I mean, you know, it's,
Obviously, if it doesn't make financial sense, there's no use going there.
well, as long as the financial sense would be for the individual and not just the township.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, definitely.
Right.
Unfortunately, where I live, I don't know how to say it, you get told that.
On that same, Dan Weeder, on that same note, Adamstown Borough, I looked at that, I sat through a meeting where they actually looked at that one trash hauler, and price-wise, when it came out, it was actually, I believe, roughly about the same amount of money for the residents.
Okay.
But one of the benefits that would have came out of that would have been they would have got like a spring and fall cleanup, where one day where they took an abundance of larger items. So in that instance, it would have been a benefit, but they elected not to go that route regardless of the fact. But there are some benefits to doing that, and the price of trash hauling has gone up, you know, a fair amount since the recycling changes have come into play.
Right, right. That's something to keep on the radar.
Yeah. Well, yeah, like I said, I was just, I have one more, go ahead. James.
I would just like to follow up on the trash hauler thing. I think that the township has enough on their plate to worry about who picks the trash up. No disrespect meant.
Smart man.
I don't know why you guys want to make more work for yourselves.
Yeah, Doug?
I have one more comment. I don't like bringing this up, but I'm going to anyhow. There was like I said, I watched the YouTube video and there seemed to be quite a spar going on between two supervisors up there. And I read the article in the Effort Review, and I don't know if most of you supervisors are aware of it or not, and I'll simply say it that. But as far as there is a code called the Code of Federal Regulations, and under section 25 CFR subsection 11.432, it clearly states, but it addresses someone who impersonates a seated public servant as being committing a misdemeanor. So I would just hope that, you know, it goes back to the tractor thing. There seems to be some going back and forth on when you, Mr. Mitchell, did in fact call that supplier. You were not seated on the board at that time. The seating didn't happen until the following week, so I'm just making a comment. I'm not threatening or anything else.
Thank you for your comments, sir.
Any other comments?
Okay, thank you. I have some announcements. Next week, Tuesday, Cocalico Leaders Meeting will be held at 7 p.m. The next supervisor meeting will be Thursday, February 6th, 2020 at 9 in the morning. We're going to recess to executive session to talk legal matters and personal matters. Thank you.
I'm gonna go on to breakfast.